In this lecture, we will discuss about Jean Baudrillard, who was a postmodernist philosopher, thinker, and a sociologist. A quick introduction: he was born in France in the year 1929. He was a professor of sociology in Paris, and he died in the year 2007. He was very famous because of his outspoken Marxist views. Earlier, he was influenced by Marxist theories, but later he tried saying that it was not relevant in the society that is present today. In the contemporary society, the Marxist theories are not relevant. So he was a radical postmodern theorist, and he rejected the idea of disciplinary boundaries because he himself integrated various disciplines and prepared his theories. He started his studies in the year 1960, and that was the beginning of his first book. Also, in the year 1968, he came up with the book The System of Objects. The list of books written by him is given here. You can take a quick look. Now, getting into the theories given by him. First of all, the first theory is the extreme postmodern social theory. He gave a Marxian critique of consumer society. He said that since the society is new, since everything is changing, how we changed from the society that was prevalent in ancient times and we moved to a modern society, and now we have moved to a postmodern society or an extreme postmodern society. What is happening? There are new means of consumption. The approach that he used was productivity based. In today's time, consumption leads to, or consumption is more important than production. Okay, because we have the kind of lifestyle, we have the kind of demands, we have the kind of greed which has to be fulfilled, and we need everything right now, right here. Therefore, consumption is increasing no matter if the production is there or not. So, if a phone is to be launched, for example, a new iPhone is to be launched, the people will buy it, and they cannot even imagine the kind of demand that is going to be there because people are so obsessed with the brands, they're so obsessed with the living standard, and they have to maintain that. Therefore, consumption will be higher, and the importance of consumption is also very higher. So, this is what in his earlier studies, his approach was based on productivity. But later on, he rejected Marx's ideas and he believed that in the contemporary society, production or the mode of production was losing its importance. In 1974, 75, he wrote the book The Mirror of Production. This book reflected a mirror image of the political economy. He argued that Marx was infected by the virus of bourgeois thought because all Marx was concerned was about the bourgeois. But he said that a radical orientation in lines with the new and the contemporary society was required, and work and value, which were the core of Marx's theory, which were the core of Marx's ideology, he said that they are not the only parameters in the contemporary society today. So, as a counter, he proposed symbolic exchange against the economic exchange. So, he said that in the society today, economic exchange is not as important as symbolic exchanges. So, what is the symbolic exchange? Symbolic exchange is giving and receiving. It is like a cycle of gifts and counter gifts. Okay, so if, for example, we can take the example of perhaps an office clerk who gets something done for a wealthy person, and in return he gets a kind of gift in kind or in cash. This is a kind of exchange. But he says that it is against capitalism. The aim or the idea behind the symbolic exchange is to create a society which is characterized by the cycle of exchange and everybody is getting something in return. But this is not generally the case. Now, his views on contemporary society, he said that Society is not dominated by mode of production, as Marx argued, but by media, by the influx of information, knowledge, industries, information and technology, computers. All of these are dominating the society. So, all of these are characterized under the code of production according to Baudrillard. So, he's saying we are not dominated by mode of production but by code of production. So, there's a shift from profit making and exploitation to dominations of science and systems. Science and systems? What is the science and systems? Science are self referential. That means we can take the example of an iPhone again. Now, the people are going to buy an iPhone because of the sign, the half eaten apple, the logo, the symbol, what it represents. It is very difficult to tell what is real. Now, there are many copies of iPhone also. So, if someone is carrying it just for the sake of being there, feeling like a member of a certain group, he could carry a fake iPhone also. So it is very difficult to tell what is real. There are so many copies of the same thing. There are so many versions of the same thing. And it is all based on the sign that it has, the symbol that it represents. iPhones are a symbol of status. They are status symbols. They represent something else. They are not just phones. They have something very different that they carry along with their signs and symbols. He further says that there is an influx of information in the world and media has to simplify it. For example, if there is a suicide case of a celebrity that you all witnessed recently, take that example. There is so much information, then there are so many people, so many perspectives, and the media has to simplify it and present it to the common man. What happens? They decide what is real and they decide what is not real and they decide what is good for them, and we watch everything. We are the witnesses of so many information. We take all that information, and what happens, this simplification, what their belief is of what is to be shown, what is real, we accept that replica of images because it is not the true reality, it is not the total reality. The information is so much, it is so vast, and we just accept the replica of images and we accept that story as reality, which could be easily fake news, but we accept it because that is what we are being provided with. Therefore, he says that we live in a world which has a lot of information but very less meaning. Okay? Because we do not even try to find out the real meaning. We just grab what we see, we just take in what we are seeing, we just imbibe what we are looking at or what is being given to us. So, the distinction between science and reality has imploded. It is very difficult to make a distinction now. So, in the modern society where the virtue was differentiation, now in the postmodern society, the core is de-differentiation because we cannot differentiate. And there are two more theories about hyperreality which we are going to study in the next lecture of Baudrillard. Let us discuss some questions now based on what we studied. Question number one: who is of the view that the postmodern age is a world where people respond to media images rather than to real persons or places? So, in the postmodern world, which is an extreme form, Baudrillard has argued that people believe in media images, the media's version rather than the real persons. So, the answer will be option A, Baudrillard. According to Baudrillard, we live in a world. So Baudrillard had said that there is a lot of information and very less meaning. So the answer will be option 2. He has not said that there is less information and more meaning because this is not the virtue of the postmodern world which he has described. And the third option says that there is more use value of science. No, he said that there is not use value of science, but science are self-referential and they refer to something else. And thus it is difficult to differentiate between real and it is very difficult to distinction to make the distinction between real and what is not real. Hope you got this lecture. Thank you for watching.